Good evening, welcome to the Derby Debrief. We are live on Facebook. Around about an hour and 5 minutes ago, we thought we would be sat here talking about 3 points in League One. We thought we'd be sending you off on your Saturday evenings, fresh from a victory inside Pride Park. But, well, Portsmouth late on in stoppage time got that equalising goal. So we're all a bit down, we're all a bit bereft. It is a point, but when you go one up, when you probably haven't had the best of the game, with 5-6 minutes to go from the penalty spot, it does feel like a bit of a downer, doesn't it?
It does. If you think how close the game was in terms of minimal chances created, and we knew Portsmouth were going to be a difficult task this afternoon, to get your noses in front with only a few minutes remaining, get that penalty. And we've heard Paul talking over the last few weeks about fine margins and little details and being the nearly men. It's kind of, you thought that was it. You got the penalty, you got your nose in front, but we just couldn't hold on. And on a fair reflection, Portsmouth were the better team. We weren't great at times, but still there wasn't much between the two sides, and it just looked like it was going to be 3 points. And that's the disappointment, that you just couldn't hold on, get the 3 points, and you end up having to settle for a draw. Yeah,
I think I said it when we were upstairs commentating. I felt like it was a bit of a defining moment, not just in the match but in the season, when Derby went one up. I thought, this is it, this could just be that little lift that we've been looking for over these first 6-7 games.
Yeah, I think first off, they're a decent team, Portsmouth, and they probably had that little bit more quality, especially in that midfield area with Pack and Robertson. I thought they controlled the majority of the balls, but it wasn't really until that last probably 20-25 minutes when Paul made the changes of bringing Sibley on and Barkhazen in those wide areas that we started creating chances, especially down that left-hand side. If you look back at the game over the 90 minutes and in the second half, Portsmouth had the better chances and probably would have felt that they deserved something from it as well. So to get the penalty, for Collo to take it as well as he did, you thought that was a bit of a turning point, but it wasn't to be. I thought we defended so well for long spells as well. I thought Cash and Nelson, who gave the player of the match, I thought they'd hold out. It felt like a centre-backs kind of game, just to see it over the line, to keep that 1-0, to say it's not the best performance, but it's 3 points and it's us winning at home again. Wasn't to be, and that's why there's so much disappointment.
Yeah, we'll hear more from Shaun momentarily, but let's get reaction now from the dressing room. We've been speaking after this game with Paul Warne.
Well, Paul, 1-1 in the end, so nearly all 3 points, but you've had to settle for a point in the end. What are your immediate thoughts after that?
Obviously disappointed, the dressing room's disappointed. I thought Portsmouth were a really good team. We knew that coming into it. They haven't lost a game yet this season. And I thought the first half was a bit scrappy from us. We were going for the perfect pass to put people in, or the other extreme. Just kept giving the ball away a bit needlessly, so I asked them to keep it a little bit more at half-time, play the extra pass, and then I thought second half, as the game progressed, although they had opportunities in our box, we did in theirs, and thought we got down the sides quite well, obviously forced into changes. T got a crazy booking, then a tackle, so had to manage that. Connor felt something he's had before on his hamstring, so that was obviously another issue to address. And then as the second half went on, really, I thought we sort of grew into it. You know, obviously, like, we ended the game, and this is the disappointment, really. You know, Elliott shouldn't have played that long. Kane shouldn't have played that long. Sims and Tom are coming back, so they're all a little bit rusty, but they'll be better for it, so that's the positive. But we should still be good enough with 5 or 6 minutes left to see the game out. And it's disappointing that obviously we went to 3 centre-halves to stop the threat of the crosses, and with Bishop, and no one picked him up in the middle of the 6. We had a bit of disappointment we didn't stop the cross, and we should have seen the game out, and we'll play significantly better, I know, and lose. And today would have been one of them days where parts of our play were good, parts of our second half were good, but you take the win and just think, right, good, go on to the next game. We defended plenty of corners, free kicks and long throws, plenty of them, and unfortunately, like we said to the lads there, we just got done with a sucker punch late on, which is disappointing when you feel so close to a victory. But you know, that might be a positive point in the end, because we weren't at our best.
You've said a couple of times this season as well that you feel that you're nearly there, like you're a nearly team. Was that another sort of example of you're nearly there, and what do you need to do to sort of take that next step, do you feel?
Yeah, I thought we were a little bit off nearly today, to be honest. There were moments where we were good. We got down the side, we had chances, and in fairness, first half, I thought we created the better chances first half. It came to Connor, penalty spot area, and you think it's going to take the net off, and I just think that, and it is an excuse business, I suppose, but we do need Birdie's coming back. We've got Sibs a bit fitter, Tom a bit fitter. We just need all our best players. I just didn't think we had enough of our best players on song today. Obviously, Nat's been, travelling around the world and time zones and that, so unfortunately we had to take him off, and he's our best attacking threat. But like I said, if we would have had more moments of the game like we did have, we had some good moments, we just needed more of it, and I just don't think that we sustained enough ball in their half. So that's something that we'll show the lads. Obviously, no one means to give the ball away, no one wants to do that, obviously, but we just need to be a little bit sharper. And the fans stayed with the team. I said that to the lads after, did you feel nervy? And they were like, no, the fans were good. But you've got to give the fans something to really get behind. And like I said, there were moments, and obviously Colo come on and got his pen, which is great. But I just thought we had another gear that we possibly didn't use today, disappointingly.
So I imagine it's still very early with Conor Hourihane in terms of the situation with him, and no Tyrese John Jules as well today.
Yeah. JJ in training on Monday, Then on the Tuesday, after about 10 minutes, just said he felt a little bit tight on his quad. So obviously with his history, we're trying to protect him and trying to get him a little bit fitter. It's a difficult line at times. So we pulled him out of training. He's had a couple of days rest, and he'll have a scan to see if there's any proper damage. With Connor, he's had the problem before. He said it's like a hamstring tendon. He was hoping it was going to go, but it didn't. Because when he came off, obviously, if it was a hamstring, I would have been like, look, you're staying off. But he said, look, Gaff, I've had it before. It will go away, but it didn't. So that might be something very little. That might be, a few days, a week. But obviously, he won't be available for Tuesday night. So, but apart from that, I think a lot of lads got a lot of minutes, really positive. In that respect, and they'll be better for it come next week and the games ahead. But today I just thought we just weren't at our best.
In terms of Tuesday in the FL Trophy, clearly you've got players that need to get minutes. Kane Wilson, Louis Sibley, Elliot Embleton. I would imagine others as well. Are you looking to sort of tweak things a little bit?
Yeah, I am. And while we've got players coming through, we need them to come back because, come Saturday, them four might be starting as well. So we've got to try and balance it as well as we can, and also we've got to try and win a football match. So there's a balancing act there as well. So we want to win the game, obviously, but I also can use it to play a few. Obviously, Sonny Bradley needs to play as well. Josh Vickers probably needs to play. So there's a few that we need to have a look at, let them play, because we're going to need everybody going forward. So we'll have a look at see how the lads are after today, and we'll pick another team for Tuesday night.
Always interesting to hear the views of Paul Warne speaking to us after the game. A variety of emotions from the Derby County manager, of course, as well. He said that there were some good moments, just not enough good moments, and that's something you were saying as well. Sometimes 2-3 passes, but not enough possession on the ball, midfield not involved enough.
Yeah, I think the difference between the two teams and why Portsmouth had that little bit more control over the 90 minutes was having that extra pass or two before they looked for a forward pass. And at times in that first half, you'd win the ball back, you'd play a couple of quick passes, and then they were trying desperately to find a pass through the lines or a forward pass in beyond, or trying the difficult pass rather than the one that was to feet or the one that was obvious to them. And it broke down too many times, and that's when Portsmouth would pick you off and attack in numbers when you're kind of condensed in your own defensive third. Again, if you're talking about Mendes, Lang and Elder, how little did they have the ball in the wide areas? It was only really when Sibley and Barker came on that the space was created out wide, and there was opportunities to put crosses in to make overlapping runs. That wasn't seen for long periods of the game. So it wasn't completely fluid, and there was moments that were bright. I thought we started the game well and we're on the front foot, and obviously Waggy hit the crossbar 2-3 minutes into the game. So there were moments, there weren't sustained periods of time where the crowd had a real chance to get behind the team and felt like something was coming. And it was actually just before the penalty I mentioned the 5 minutes or so leading up to that, Derby were really the team in the ascendancy and looking to get that first goal. They got it, and then obviously the disappointment was not being able to hold on to it.
Yeah, there was definitely positives. There was some negatives as well. I mean, for me, the disappointment today was the fact the team was set up to try and bring the best out of Mendes-Lang. Obviously, the change at the back, Mendes-Lang, as we'd highlighted before the game, not a natural sort of right wing back, and yet didn't seem to get enough of the ball in the positions that you want to see him have the ball.
Yeah, I think there was only once, maybe twice in the time he was on the pitch where he was isolated in a 1v1 situation, which is where you want him. You want him high, you want him wide, you want him facing the fullback and using his pace and his trickery to get crosses in and to get shots at goal. I think it was after 65, 70 minutes where he found himself on the right-hand side and cuts in and has a shot with the left. That was, I think, the first time. But again, it was maybe not having that extra little control of the game or finding the opportunity to go from one side of the pitch to the other to create that little bit of space to isolate him. And Elder, you know, Elder's been playing in a wing-back position as well, and all of a sudden he was further forward and advanced. He didn't have many opportunities to run at the defender as well. So it still wasn't kind of exactly how Paul wants. He's seen little bits of it. Obviously, it's a change in formation, which surprised me a little bit because I know how much he likes the back three and he likes wing backs. But again, it's probably to fit players into the position. And unfortunately, there weren't, especially in the attacking third and the attacking positions, there weren't standout players. I thought the better players of the afternoon were the defensive unit.
So that was my negative. My positive, and we highlighted this at the start of the programme, and it led to the goal, was the introduction of the players off the bench. And Derby looked a lot more like Derby when the likes of Louis Sibley and Tom Barkhuizen were playing, and it was Barkhuizen ball in from that wide area that led to the penalty.
Yeah, well, I thought Sibs was excellent down the left. You mentioned in comms that within like 20 seconds or so, he was already getting at the full-back, almost dropped inside to get a shot off. He offers that sense of optimism and belief that something can happen when he's on the pitch. It's been a long time for Barkhuizen to get back onto the pitch, which is great to see him, and it was his cross from the right-hand side that obviously led to the penalty decision. So, again, if we talk about control and we talk about using the ball well, we didn't use it well enough into the wide areas. The midfield, I thought, was dominated with Robertson and with Pack, so that tells you the tale of the game. Our defenders were the best players, for me, on the pitch, especially the back two, the two centre-halves. And that was the disappointment for me, because I've been in games where it's not been the prettiest. You've defended well, you've got your noses in front, and that 5-10 minute spell, that's the key point. That's what's going to win you the game. And unfortunately, they had a chance. I think it was Devlin that headed over when he had a glorious chance of scoring himself. And then obviously that they scored in the final few minutes of the game. So there's some positives. We're playing against a very good side as well in Portsmouth that I fully expect to be in the top 6 this season. They're well drilled and they're a good footballing team, but we weren't at our best, and I think you saw that with the manager's interview.
Football so often, isn't it, about partnerships and getting partnerships going, whether that's in a central midfield area, whether that's at the back and up front. Just at the minute, trying to work out which is the best combination of Waghorn, Collins and Washington.
Yeah, well, Wash has obviously had a bit of time out and he's still getting up to speed, obviously away international duty. I thought he started the game excellently, stretching the pitch, running beyond, creating that space for Waggy in the little pockets. And it looked like it was going to be bright, but then when you lose control of the ball and you're finding too many kind of killer passes and the ball breaks down far too often, then you haven't got those opportunities. To be fair to Colo, I thought he did well when he came on. He led the line well, was competitive, was running into channels, and obviously gets the penalty, finishes the penalty. So yeah, we're still not 100% sure our best team. We've got players, we've got an abundance of quality and experience in this group and in this squad. How it ends up fitting is still unsure, and that's to be unfolded. And that's probably why the inconsistency is still there. Until you know, probably you start in 10 or 11, you're never going to have a settled side, and it's always difficult to have consistent performances with an unsettled side. Portsmouth's
equalising goal, there was a few appeals. Certainly Joe Wildsmith went racing after the referee. It was Colby Bishop, of course, who put it in. I mean, we've looked at it now from various angles. I'm not sure there's an offside there. I think it was more a forlorn hope.
I think so. My disappointment was that there was enough signs for that second ball, the second phase of the ball going into the box, maybe not clearing our lines and clearing danger well enough. they landed on those seconds and put balls back in. I looked at their set pieces and they would leave players out of the box on purpose to allow Derby to win the ball, and then on the edge of the box they would land on that second ball. And I think it was Conor Shaughnessy had a chance, Bishop had a chance beforehand where it fell kindly to Wildsmith, and he made no mistake in the last few moments. I think he just drifted the wrong side of Craig Forsyth, who was trying to defend that first ball. Yeah, and real disappointment, because you did feel, especially how the game had unfolded over the 90 minutes, that you got your noses in front, you had that little bit of luck and take the penalty well. But obviously we didn't do enough to win the game in the end.
Let's hear from the Derby goal scorer who did take that penalty exceptionally well. We've been speaking after that game to James Collins.
Colo, coming so close to 3 points, how much does it hurt to concede late today?
Yeah, really hurts. When you get yourself in front with only a few minutes to go, and then conceding the last minute, it's always disappointing. As quite evident, we probably weren't our best performance today, but we still somehow got in the lead with a few minutes to go, and it always hurts more when you concede in the last minute. Always the best feeling in the world when you score last minute, but when you concede last minute and get 3 points taken away from you, it's always difficult, but it's football.
As has been the case in any of the defeats this year, it's been fine margins, and it seemed like you were going to come out on the right side from today. How frustrating is it then that it's ended that way today?
Yeah, really frustrating. I think we've been on the back of some like bad decisions. Really, we probably not had the luck of the draw, and it looked like today we rode our luck a little bit. They had a couple of half chances in the second half, and it looked like when we scored it was going to be our day. But we need to see it out to the end as a group. There's no one to blame really. As a group we need to see games out better, especially at home. But listen, Portsmouth, they're going to be right up there this year. They're not idiots, you know what I mean? They're a good side, and they've come here and they've performed well and probably got a point they deserve really.
Like you say, they're going to be up there come the end of the season. What do you make of the display against the team that you're probably in the battle with?
Yeah, it was okay at times. Bit stop-start. It wasn't. Yeah, they're a good footballing team. They've got a new manager. They've got good players. They're athletic. But so have we. We've recruited well. We've got some good players. We've got experienced players, and that's probably why it's a bit frustrating in the dressing room, because we've got players that have been there and done it, and players with know-how as well. So. But listen, it's football. Nothing's going to go easy. Getting promoted from any league is tough. It's not going to go your way all year. So we've got to dust ourselves down, and we've got to look to Tuesday night and then going away next week and putting it right.
Your first goal here at Pride Park this season, how much did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, to be fair, especially when I thought it was going to be the winner. But no, it was nice, a little bit of relief as well. Because as strikers, we always want to score goals, and maybe not at the minutes that I really wanted. But listen, you've got to be patient. You've got to bide your time, and coming on and scoring's always nice. So, but it would have been nice if it was the winner.
Yeah, there is competition for places up front this season. How much are you, as a group, driving each other on? Yeah,
we drive each other on every day, really. We've Waggy's come in, he's been excellent. Wash has come in, he's been excellent as well. And JJ looked really lively for the first couple of weeks when he come in. Unfortunately, he's missed out with injury today. So yeah, there's four of us there, and all experienced lads. You've got internationals in there. You've got lads playing the Premier League. You know what I mean? So it's a good competition, and they're all great lads as well. So we drive each other on every day, and only two can play out the four. So when you're the one that's not playing, it's obviously disappointing, but you just got to get on with it, and hopefully when it's your chance, you take it.
Like I say, goals are always going to help that. Back here on Tuesday night, away from the pressure of league action, how much will you look forward to that experience?
Well, we need to get used to winning at home again. So Tuesday is probably quite a big game, really. People probably think that it's the Papa John's Trophy. It doesn't mean much, but if you win cup games, if you get on a run, and it helps with your league form. So I think we need to be right at it Tuesday, get a win on the board, and just get that feel good feeling back again.
It's a busy week, of course, then with a long old trip up to Carlisle coming next week. How quickly do you have to move on from today?
Rapid. you can probably sort tonight, and then tomorrow you have to just get on with it. It's a new day, and come back in Monday, and then you revise it from today, and then you have to park it. Then you will be working on Lincoln on Tuesday, and that's how quick it turns around. And then before you know it, you're back here Tuesday night playing again. So, but we've got lads, like I said earlier, we've got lads, experienced lads that have been there and done it, and they know how to do that. And we need to make sure we dust ourselves off quickly.
That was James Collins speaking to us after Derby 1, Portsmouth 1, which we can see on screen there. Let's have a look at the other results in the EFL League One today. Barnsley 2, Burton Albion 0 at Oakwell. Exeter City 1, Cheltenham Town 0. Oxford United going well this season. They beat Fleetwood Town at Fleetwood by 3-0. Lincoln City 1, Carlisle United 1. Lincoln next up in the EFL Trophy, of course, for Derby. Peterborough United 1, Leyton Orient 1. Port Vale 1, Northampton Town 0. Reading 2, Bolton Wanderers 1. Shrewsbury Town losing at home by 2-0 against Bristol Rovers. Stevenage 1, Charlton 1. Wigan 2, Cambridge United 1, and Wycombe Wanderers 2, Blackpool 0. Those are all the results in League One this afternoon. Let's have a look at the top half then of the table. Derby still there in the top half, top page on CFAX or Teletext, whatever you want to call it these days. Derby County in 11th position with 10 points. So Exeter and Port Vale, top of the table with 16 points each in the automatic promotion positions. We said Oxford going well, Oxford, Stevenage, Barnsley and Portsmouth in the playoff position. So Portsmouth, courtesy of the 1-1 draw, keep their place there. And at the bottom of the table, Fleetwood Town and Cheltenham Town with a point apiece. Burton Albion down there as well with 2 points, and Reading also in the relegation position with just 5 points from their 7 games. You're watching the Derby Debrief. We're live on Facebook, and let's turn our attention now to your birthday, to Tuesday night and the football. We promised everyone cupcakes that's coming, but more importantly, can we promise maybe a few changes to the team and an opportunity on Tuesday night to progress to the next stage of the competition?
Well, it's an opportunity, there's no doubt. He has the squad to be able to change it, and he has players that are desperate for minutes. If you look at Barkhazen, Sibley, Warne obviously only played 45 minutes today. There's lots of players that need time on the pitch, and they'll be keen for it, but the manager will want to win. He'll want to get a result. He'll want to kind of kick on. Every game is an opportunity, so he'll put a strong team out, and he'll be fully expecting to get the result.
In many respects, when you say a strong team, it could look something like the team that ended this game with the likes of Louis Sibley and Tom Barkhazen, who we've already lauded this evening, maybe starting on Tuesday night.
Yeah, and I think you've got other players to come in that need the time, they need an opportunity to impress. Sonny Bradley, maybe Elder will get another start because he's trying to get up to speed. Obviously Wilson. There's lots of players that are probably in his starting 11 in his head at the start of the year that haven't quite hit the ground running and still need to get that fitness up. They've had little niggles and injuries, so your guess is as good as mine. But whatever he chooses, he's got the squad he could change the full 11 and it still be a very strong squad and a decent team. So I'm sure he'll use that to full advantage. Well, thank you so much for your company this afternoon. We look forward to you being with us on Tuesday night as well. We look forward to that game here on RamsTV. You'll be able to watch it in full. Well, with about 5 minutes to go this evening, we thought that we were going to be bringing you news of a Derby County victory, but with Portsmouth getting that goal back, unfortunately, it was Derby, not Pompey, who paid the penalty. Good night.
Anders Lang, ball just caught under his feet, dug out the cross, Howrahan, Waghorn's on the hat-trick! A first half hat-trick for Martin Waghorn.
Bird inside the penalty area now, still with Max Bird. Harahan! And the new Derby County captain marks his appointment with a goal. Here is Ward. What can he do as he takes on the fullback, gets that ball in towards that penalty area, might break over on the far side, equalising goal.